The New York Knicks try to lose in Dallas, but the Mavericks just wouldn't let them.
You are Locked On Knicks, your daily New York Knicks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
You are locked on to the New York Knicks, where they somehow won against the Dallas Mavericks when they probably shouldn't have. I'm Gavin, Schall. I'm a New York City native and a credentialed media member that's been covering the Knicks for nearly a decade. He is Kris Pursiainen. He's credentialed in the real way, covering games at MSG, an NBA reporter for Clutch Points, who does a fantastic job, and you should check out all of his work over there. This is Locked On Knicks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Now, the number one sports podcast network in the world. So be sure to check out your daily podcast on the Knicks, giving you the most detailed insight on your favorite team 5 whole days a week. And be sure to join thousands of other Knicks fans in subscribing on both YouTube and your favorite podcast platform for the best insight on your favorite team every single day, because we are rapidly approaching 10,000 on YouTube. And when you subscribe on YouTube, when you subscribe on the pod side, it is the single best way you can help us grow the show, and we really appreciate it. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. We are live bright and early in New York City on a Thursday morning. It's just a little more electric when you do it live, Kris. And I thought that was fitting given the way this game ended in like a heart-stopping fashion. One of those games you win and you walk away a little disgusted with yourself for being up at nearly 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Happy with the win. Gross with how the Knicks played. A little gross that you stayed up that late to watch it if you weren't paid to do so. But we're going to talk about Landry Shamet's late shot making, Jalen Brunson's return, and whether the Knicks were just better to be lucky than good. They become the first team in NBA history in this game to win a game where they missed 33s and 15 free throws in regulation. Incredible. Is that your main takeaway from this one?
Incredible. I don't think is the right word, and I'll be a stickler on it.
Okay, to be fair, it was a sarcastic.
No, I know. What I'm saying is, it was better than I think you even maybe think. It was incredible, unbelievable. Like, to the literal letter of the law, it has to be unbelievable to be incredible. It's incredible. I kind of did believe it. I was like, you know what? The Mavericks are missing everyone. And the Knicks are missing not everyone, but they are a little scattered right now. They're a little scrambled. This game is probably going to be one of those. And, they referenced it on the broadcast. That game with Luka and the last second shenanigans.
That was 1 in 14,000. This is also first time ever. I would imagine the number's not that high, but just crazy things happen when the Knicks are in Dallas.
This is the trend at this point. This is a trend at this point, and my dog just caused an earthquake. But like, basically, the Knicks are gonna have a weird game when they go to Dallas. It's part of the course at this point. Also, even if it's at the Garden, Dallas is like involved sometimes in their weirdest. If you remember the game where Cam Reddish crossed himself up and hit the deck, and then like
I blocked out the whole Cam Reddish era.
The rotation changed like forever after the Knicks lost the third quarter that day, 41-16. So like, it's always weird with the Mavericks. Last night's game, what did I think about it? There were parts of me that were watching the game and thinking, this is a bad early data point. This is a team, every game, a team shows you who they are. And right now, the Knicks are showing you that in Dallas, post Nico firing in a super transitory time for a team that is missing its 2 best players, the number 1 overall pick, You took their two best doctors last year. Everything's a mess. And and they traded Luka, and then you still can barely beat. It's like, guys, come on. Also, it's tough to look at it that like in a vacuum. Jalen Brunson first game back. We'll get into what he looked like, which was an alien for various reasons. But I think for me personally, and I'm kind of curious, like what you were thinking as you were watching the first half unfold was just like, and again, this is not from a position of like, oh, I despise watching. Like I watch so many basketball games that people would consider awful, and I have a great time. But I'm watching the start of this game, and I was like, this is different. But that's the point here. Like the Knicks are going to lose games that maybe they shouldn't by a couple of points or by 30 but they're also going to, when they win by 3 times as many points. Like that might not seem like a worthwhile trade-off to you, the listener, individually, but it's what teams across the league are doing right now. And I guess I don't know why specifically, other than data is clearly indicating that they should, but I also hate referring to analytics as like this like god that doesn't have a anyway. What do you think? Do you think that this is just where we're at, that trash nights in the NBA are going to not turn out like the NFL, because there's so much more variance. It's not like everyone's going to be close, but do you think that as teams, here's my actual question.
Sure, yeah.
Do you think that as teams continue to adopt slightly more similar shot profiles and also just similar ideologies regarding 3-point volume, and particularly like dealing with the talent disparity, getting up a lot of threes, high difficulty shots, and just hoping they go in, do you think that that's almost like leveling the playing field around the league in a sense? Like styles make fights, and now everyone's style is a little slightly more similar, to the extent where we're going to see more and more games like this where teams just like that very opposite of have a barn burner, but it's still like down to the, I don't know. What do you make?
Yeah,
of it? It's like a trend.
I think the only the like counter to, like, I guess, I mean, maybe you're not asking that question with an implicit answer, but the counter I would say is like defense is the control variable. And it's why you see Oklahoma City still have like a plus 15 net rating, and the Knicks don't have that. They are, I think, 16th rating as of this morning. I believe I saw a stat the other day that the Knicks have gotten the best shot quality in the NBA while allowing the worst shot quality in the NBA. So if anything, their offense is still underperforming a little bit, as you see tonight, and their defense is maybe overperforming, though there's something to, like, certainly the defensive playmaking you're seeing from Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, and like the Knicks being a little bit more like risk-taking defensively when they were very risk-averse under Tom Thibodeau, is maybe like that's a trade-off for them defensively now, where like higher shot quality for the opponents, nights where like you don't get those steals and they get hot and they pour 130 on you, but you create a little bit more variance, you help your offense, you create easy shots, you shut down possessions because you're getting steals where an opponent doesn't even get off a shot. So it's interesting. I don't want to overlook into that stat. I think the Knicks defensive rating being pretty much dead average is probably mostly indicative of where they are. I don't, despite
do you think they've been an average defense, or do you think they've sometimes been good and sometimes been so bad and it's averaged out to average? Because I think both are feasible.
I think the latter, but I do think that's pretty typical for an average defense. I may be wrong. Maybe some teams just kind of play mediocre all the time. But
I was going to say, I think it's fair to say they have an average defense, but it's a volatile.
For sure. I definitely hear it. And obviously it's far more volatile when OG Anunoby's completely off the floor for like when he's injured, I should say. He's that's the way to say that.
What's the weirdest way I could say this?
Yeah. I mean, he, as of 2 weeks ago, I didn't check when he got hurt, but as of 2 weeks ago, I think he had the single best defensive plus minus in the NBA. So like the Knicks, in some sense of the term, are losing the league's single most impactful defender. You lose that, and you have a night where we said like this was an unprecedented way in NBA history. And to be fair, like teams have only been shooting enough threes to miss 30 of them, maybe the last 10 to 15 years. So that limits your scope. But this was an unprecedented way to win a basketball game. 12 for 42, 19 for 35 from the free throw line. So I was being a little condescending and a little tongue in cheek to start. But I do think there's some merit to the idea that like this is a noble win and this is an impressive win. And we can talk about like in the next two segments, like why that's maybe not quite the truth, because I didn't think this was an exceptionally sharp game for pretty much anyone on this team other than probably Jalen on the offensive side of the floor. Like I think pretty much everyone else had their warts. Josh in some ways had a good game, but even he had some issues passing up wide open threes. And to your point, they're playing a just like terrible version of Dallas, who put together a gutty effort. D'Lo was awesome. Najee Marshall was awesome. Dallas started off really hot, finished 36% from three, 25 of 30 from the free throw line. Like at some point, math is just math, and that is an incredibly hard like shooting margin and shooting gap to make up, even when the Knicks are way better. So to me, like I don't have any really like negative long-term read about this game other than the fact that like in a perfect world, and like if the Knicks are going to beat a team like the Thunder, you'd think their defense would have to be somewhat close to them, and that's hard to judge with that OG. But right now, they're not in that stratosphere. Kris, I'm going to let you respond to that in just a sec. But first, we got to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about whether we should read into this game. And I want to get into Landry Shamet's late shot making because that was really cool. We'll get into it in just a second. But first, we want to tell you about our friends over at Quo. Let's talk about something every business owner knows too well: missed calls. When a customer tries to reach you and can't get through, that's money slipping away. Quo, spelled Quo, is the smarter way to run your business communication so you never miss an opportunity. Quo is the #1 business phone system built for 2025, not 1995. It's simple, modern, and designed to help you communicate faster, look more professional, and stay connected wherever you're working. I love that Quo works right from an app on your phone or computer. No extra devices, no clunky landlines. Your whole team can share one number and collaborate on calls and texts like a shared inbox, which means customers can get help faster. The built-in AI is a game changer. It logs your calls, writes summaries, and even sets follow-ups automatically. It makes small businesses feel big and big businesses feel efficient. No wonder over 90,000 businesses are already using Quo. So try Quo for free at quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. And yes, you can even keep your existing number. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. We also want to tell you about our good friends over at Rugiet. Let's be real, making excuses doesn't solve a single thing. We've all heard them before. Just stress, I'm tired. It happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support. And that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rugiet makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online. No awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. It prescribed your treatment ships discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. Visit rugiet.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com/LockedOnNBA. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNBA, so they know we sent you. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves. All right, we are back here on Locked On Knicks. Kris, it sounded like your dog wanted some Rugiet. The Knicks could have used some Rugiet after just an utterly limp performance against the Dallas Mavericks. I'm exaggerating. There was some good stuff. Unless you had something to note on what I just said, do you want to get into the late shot making from Landry and anything else that stood out to you in a positive way in this one?
We're live. We're live right now. We broke off the air. We're live. No, I was laughing because maybe I should do a little inside baseball as how attentive I am sometimes. Is I just realized what that was an ad for, and that was maybe the 4th or 9th time you've read it in front of me. Yeah, dude, you just sneak it,
slip right by you. Yeah,
I know. Anyway, so basically, man, what did you ask me about that had to do with basketball?
Yeah. I said, any thoughts on Landry Shamet's shot making? Unless you had something else.
No. I kind of have like a soapbox here, which is
go ahead.
I was talking to someone about this last night, which is like Landry Shamet kind of represents the revolution here in a sense. Like, there's some saying, and I don't know what it is, and I can't figure it out right now, so I'm just gonna have to like imply it to you. And there's some saying about how like he yeah there's some saying about how it's like, you know, the bunch of things are going to change. Yes, like the biggest or the smallest or the best or worst or whatever, but like you can evaluate it by the average or what, like I something like that, where I do think there's something to looking at Mike Brown and his affinity for Landry Shamet early on, particularly when it comes to starting him, when it comes to like you see the Kevin Herter of this all, right? Like you see this is just the plug and playest guy in the league. This is just Landry Shamet, man. He doesn't want the basketball unless he's wide open, in which case, give it to him. He doesn't, he is not, you're not gonna, he's like an offensive lineman. You're not gonna notice him on defense. They're not gonna call his name out. I was like, Landry Shamet with the chase down block in the NBA finals. That's not gonna happen. But he might not get blown by every time either. Like he might just do his job. And I think the fact that this kind of NBA player, somebody who when you evaluate them, you could be like, this is an NBA guy, but not somebody who you go, oh, this is an amazing rim protector, or this is an amazing this or that. Like, yes, he's a good shooter, but I would say he's a good shooter.
Yeah,
That
not an
doesn't
elite
mean
shooter.
yeah, he's not right. So my point all in all is I think Shamet kind of represents what the Knicks are doing here, which is, hey, especially in the regular season, let's lean into variance. Let's lean into taking shots from downtown and seeing what happens. Damn it. Let's like there. I think there is something to the Knicks strategy, including so many 3-pointers to start, that has a little bit to do with Mike Brown realizing that while 3-pointers were organizationally a priority last season, and while they were a priority of the coaching staff, I think we've talked about this before. Like the coaching staff clearly didn't do what it took, and maybe this was intentional by them. Maybe this was them not being able to communicate their own principles. Whatever it was, right? We're not here to relitigate or judge. The fact of the matter is, for a coaching staff that stressed the importance of corner 3-pointers, they took the 27th most in the NBA, and when you 3-pointers in general, and when you look at their corner 3-point volume, it was not, super up there. And when you look at the proportion of their 3-point shots last season compared to their overall shot profile, which would adjust for pace and their slower pace, it was under league average. So they were taking less 3-pointers than everyone else, no matter what, by a lot. And so, like, no, it doesn't make the Knicks a better team, Gavin, that they average more bench points per game. Or it doesn't make the Knicks a better team that they take more 3-pointers per game. And I want to say that, like, people like XJ who argue for a sunrise that they'll never see, when it comes to like the ideological shift here, commonly face rebuttals like, oh, you know what, you think you're gonna win just because you shoot 63? You have to make them, right? And it's like another idiot owned by iTest Incorporated. Like, this is the process. This is the formula. This is the goal isn't to win every single game by 40 points. It's to get to the playoffs with health and with a shot profile that you're comfortable leaning on in moments of not disaster. Like, because when disaster hits, Jalen's getting the ball, he's going, right? Carl's going to set a screen or he's not. And that's going to be that. You gotta figure it out from there. But when it comes to this regular season, they're eating innings right now. What do you make of that? Is that allowed? Is that depressing for you as a fan? Are you such a nerd that you're excited about the optimization of it all? Like,
yeah.
what?
I don't know. I don't know if this gets to that exactly, because it's like it almost feels like a full podcast worth of a question. I feel like, and I got to some of what you're talking about in my first little diatribe. I'll just say for Landry specifically, like there, and this is exactly what you're saying. There is just a baseline solidity there in terms of his effort. And there are going to be times defensively. And last year, this is why I wasn't really a big believer in him as a playoff guy. Like when he is playing like a guy physically bigger than him, they're just often going to get to their spot on him. And you saw it at like the tail end of the Heat game, right? Like Norm Powell cooked him a few times, even though they're about the same size. Norm is a stronger, better athlete, got to his spot, rose up over him. And that's like the best scorers in the world. Like, you can play good defense, but if you're 6'5" with short arms, you're not really affecting them. It's almost as if you're not there at all. But Landry has great hands, and he makes a lot of plays off it. Like early in the game, broke up a dribble handoff with a strip, then took a charge on Derek Lively in semi-transition. We saw that play like under 5 minutes to go where he shoots in, knocks the ball off Klay Thompson's leg. Just a combination of like high effort, good instincts, tough basketball player coming out of Wichita State. And then the shot making late. I mean, for people who didn't watch the game and we're 20 minutes in, you're thinking, okay, what actually happened here? It was Landry Shamet down the stretch, both good and bad. Brunson, best defensive play he's made in some time. Strips Najee Marshall, Hart picks up the ball, gets it to Brunson. Brunson drives middle, pivots back, slings it to the corner to Shamet for three. 109-108 Knicks. And then on the other end of the floor, Shamet makes like kind of an underrated play where I forgot exactly how the sequence went down, but Gafford has Brunson.
He dove, Shamet dove for a ball, didn't get it, but then got back up, and that one.
Oh no! This was
okay, I'll shut up.
Sorry.
Go back.
Oh no, it's okay. It was Pete. Unless I'm getting this out of order. PJ Washington had. Sorry. This was with 2 minutes ago. This was before this, but I also wanted to mention it. Pete. That's why it's confusing. PJ Washington had Brunson sealed, and Shamet shot in and just fouled him on the hand, and that ended up saving a point because it would have been a layup and it's a missed free throw. And those are the types of plays he makes that three to make it 109-108. Play later, Josh drive, miss layup, rebound, kick out, Shamet three again, 112-109. Dallas ends up having a chance down the stretch of this one because Shamet misses two free throws, Mitch misses two free throws, Jalen only goes 1 of 2, and the Knicks win on just like an all-time bailout call. I mean, it was a hook. Arguably Landry Shamet bumped him before. I don't know about you, even as someone who nominally roots for the Knicks, I wouldn't have had any issue with that not being called a foul. Brandon Williams getting the play through. He had what should have been a game-tying layup. Instead,
I agree with Fred Katz. Fred was just like, I can't believe they called that.
It's stunning, right? Because you usually don't see that called.
But in my gut reaction in the moment was, okay, yeah, that's a foul on Shamet. And then
I mean, Shamet kind of bumped him, and then he got hooked. So it was
just, then you see the replay, and this is one of those situations where it's like, I don't know. You ever seen the meme, or I guess it's, oh my god, this was before memes were nominally, to use your word, a thing. It was just like a political cartoon, and it's this guy with a camera, and he's capturing this fight. But it's only a super zoomed in portion, and it makes the victim look like the aggressor and vice versa. Like this is one of those like framing things where I feel like, I don't know. This game was just bizarre, man. This game is
it was so weird. All right, on that happy note,
it's just gonna break.
we'll step aside. We'll come back and we'll talk. Jalen Brunson early return. We'll get into it next right here.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
But first, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Skims. When Skims announced they were making underwear for men, the reaction made perfect sense. People have been talking about Skims comfort for years. Most guys, though, stick to whatever they've been buying since college. The same fits, the same waistbands, that roll, and a whole lot of settling. Well, Skims Men changes that. One upgrade, and it's obvious why everyone's been talking. But once I tried Skims Men's underwear, I got the hype instantaneously. They're designed to feel good, fit right, and actually stay put. No slipping, no sagging, no adjusting, just genuinely great underwear that makes you feel comfortable and confident. My favorite pair is the Stretch 5-inch, which stood out right away as the fit in the fabric, soft, supportive, and comfortable all day. They don't ride up, they don't lose their shape, and they hit exactly where they're supposed to on the thigh. Anyone who plays basketball knows your underwear can potentially get extremely uncomfortable. It is not the case with Skims. You almost feel like you're wearing nothing at all. They're a game changer, and Skims completely surprised me in that sense. So shop Skims Men's now at skims.com, and when you place your order, choose podcast in the post purchase, survey, and select our show from the dropdown to let them know we sent you. Plus, the SKIMS Holiday Shop is open. So if you're looking for the perfect gift this season, SKIMS has you covered. We also want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, we're back here on Locked On Knicks. Kris, somewhat surprising. A lot of people thought Jalen Brunson was going to be out for a while. I know Ian Begley in his initial report described it as a serious injury. When it first went down, and this is a self-indulgent moment we don't have time for, but I'm going to do it anyways. I use the logic of I've watched a lot of college football in my life, and there are a lot of cases where guys have the boot and guys have crutches. And it's actually just very precautionary, and they're fine within a week. And someone commented on a short we put out where I say that, saying like that this logic is idiotic, and I will acknowledge that logic is idiotic. It is total Bill Simmons logic, where he's so self-assured, and it just does not hold up to any kind of scrutiny. But you know what? I was right. Suck it, random commenter. What did you think of Jalen Brunson in this one? Because he. Like when the Knicks could not make a three, second quarter, some of the third, he basically single-handedly kept them afloat.
Oh yeah, man. He kicked into gear. For sure. Like that was a thing that you kind of watched happen, right? Was Jalen be like, "Oh, okay, wait, hold on. I need to do more right now." I also think he was ready for that. I'm sorry, call me, a wearer of a tinfoil hat, but I just got to think if this one was in Utah. He's not. I don't know. I don't want to say that Jalen. How do I put it? He's going to come back ridiculously early from whatever, no matter what. Mm-hmm. There's no science to that. It's just pain tolerance. A lot of the times, and Tom Thibodeau is pretty open about this, and his, how do I put it? Thinly veiled disdain for players who were cleared by the medical staff to play, but deemed themselves too injured to go from a pain perspective, which I don't think the coaching staff was fond of, or honestly, we can generalize. I don't think most coaching staffs would be fond of that. So for Jalen, he's kind of the exact opposite. He plays through anything as long as it's not cut off. So he came back against Dallas. Maybe coincidence, maybe he had this one on the calendar. His one game a year at Dallas. I don't know. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I'm fine theorizing if that's the case. He looked good. I almost think the story here is off the court. Like I think the story here is just that his injury is a non-story, apparently. I don't know. From being there at MSG the night he was hurt, the vibe was always that like, hey, we got to see how bad this is before anyone has thoughts about anything. But what does that mean? That means uncertainty, which means what? Our brains, our human silly brains, fill in the question marks with Mad Libs of the worst things that could ever happen. So I do think there was a little bit of like a damper put on the optimism of a potential optimism of this situation the night it happened. Gavin, I challenged you when we podcasted about it to not spin it as some like magic positive for the Knicks that their best player was hurt, because everyone does that. I think you did it anyway, but nonetheless, maybe you were right. You were right in spirit, because There was no injury to the Knicks star. There was no injury to the Knicks star. I don't know. Did you learn anything about this team while he was out, or was it kind of just like a fever dream?
Yeah, I don't. That's a good question. I don't know. I think my positive spin on it was this is a great window for Cat, OG, and Mikal to take the reins a little bit more. I mean, not that Mikal and OG needed a rhythm, but maybe for Mikal to find a little more aggression, which I don't know if that really happened. Like against Miami, like he was the second game, he was great. And the issue was he didn't shoot more down the stretch. And then Cat was obviously just like incendiary in the first half of the first game. And then we haven't, I mean, to his credit, in the second half, like he didn't force it. But we haven't really seen that guy since. Like he got off to a 1-for-8 start in the second Miami game, 1-for-6 start tonight, missing some free throws. Good finish for Cat down the stretch, but there wasn't really totally enough time to learn a ton about this team. I do think maybe it empowered Deuce McBride a little bit to find.
I was going to say Deuce too, but for the other reason. I was going to say Deuce kind of like fell flat on the point guard duties in my mind.
Yeah, but do you expect that from? Like I mentioned the stat the other day. Like
no, I don't, but Mike Brown is Mike Brown's learning things, you know?
For sure. Yeah. Like the Knicks have just been bad when he's been asked to play point guard, and he scored 25, but like, and you said it, like the part of his game that's developed is that he can hunt his own shot a little bit, especially like that off the dribble three one-on-one is real now. And his confidence.
Oh yeah. Yesterday you just knew that one was going in, right?
It was nasty. Yeah.
Do you know exactly which one I was at? That
the double tween.
Yeah. And it's like late shot clock and you see him trebuchet that thing out there and you're like, that's going right in the like 3/4 of the way down of the net, back of the net. It's gonna hit right there. Like you just know.
Yeah, that was sick. Really good, really like great game for Jalen Brunson. The part of this, and maybe this is what you're getting at earlier, that like I'm gonna struggle with a little bit is like, and this is gonna be the question all year for the New York Knicks. What is the balance between playing with pace, tons of dribble handoffs, Cat as a hub at the elbow, like intricate screening partners? And the Knicks did a little bit of that with Jalen specifically, like bunch of ghost screens. You saw Mikal pop off a ghost screen for a wide open three. You saw Clarkson screen for him. You saw Mikal like actually screen for him, and Jalen and Cat had like a couple good sequences that led to Cat dunks. Like they did mix up the screeners for Jalen. So in that sense, it was a little bit new school. But for the most part, the Knicks did not lean into Mike Brown ball tonight. They leaned into Tom Thibodeau ball and it was the Jalen save us meme. And Jalen, by and large, was able to save them with some help from some other guys, which I will talk about in a part 2 that I will put out later today. But Kris has to go. I have to go for the time being. So until next time,
can I say quickly that the commenter said, there's no way that you seriously used I've watched a lot of sports as a qualification to make a medical prediction. Yeah. You acted like they called you dumb. All they said
no. I said they accurately called out my idiot logic, which it was. I'm open about it, but I was right. And I honestly think I was right for the right reason. You know what I have to say to that guy? Watch more sports, and you might have known too. All right, that's it for now. I'll be back with like a little 15-minute bonus one on this. That would have been great. Shout out around the horn. And Kris and XJ tonight for the first time together ever, just them two. I'm excited to watch that. Reins are off. We'll see how it goes. All right, for Kris, I'm Gavin. We'll talk to you soon on Locked On Knicks.